Bernie Sanders' own former press secretary just got cornered on live television and couldn't escape one simple yes or no question. Watch how fast this unravels, because Piers Morgan asks one thing, and she immediately tries to redefine the dictionary instead of answering it.
It's very interesting, your interpretation of what defund means. As Joe Walsh rightly says, the actual interpretation of defund the police or defund the Pentagon or whatever it may be is you get rid of that institution and you replace it with something else.
What you're talking, English, Piers, this is why.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I'm asking you whether you mean a decrease in the amount that you fund these organizations with, or do you believe in abolishing them? Would you abolish the police? Would you abolish the Pentagon? Would you abolish prisons? Yes, no, yes, no, yes,
If you want to know what me, Brianna, and Joy Gray thinks, you can come on my show and we can debate my views at length. But I think what the viewers want to know is
answer my questions. That's why you're here.
No, why we're here is
to discuss
the DSA candidates and people who are running for office, not one 40-year-old woman sitting in her apartment in Washington, D.C. So if you want to talk about what the movements to defund the Pentagon are about,
can you answer my questions, please?
This is the oldest trick in the activist playbook, and Morgan calls it instantly. The word is defund the police, defund the Pentagon. That language didn't come from Republicans, it came from the activist left itself, starting back in 2020. And now, years later, when the actual policy gets unpopular, the same movement suddenly insists it never meant what it plainly says. Gray's not disputing facts here. She's disputing the English language in real time, on camera, because the honest answer is politically radioactive. And this isn't some random online commentator either. This is a woman who was Bernie Sanders' national press secretary during his 2020 presidential campaign, someone who's supposed to know exactly how to talk about this stuff. Morgan's not being unfair by pushing. He's doing the one thing journalists are supposed to do, refusing to let a guest redefine words mid-sentence to dodge accountability. And when that didn't work, watch her pivot to a completely different argument entirely.
It's about asking the question of whether or not we should continuously increase funding an unprecedentedly high military budget year after
That's
year
not what
to
defund
an institution
means.
that literally fails its audits and can't even account for where the money is going.
Brianna, defund means no money for,
Pentagon should be funded more. I'm sorry,
no
Joe?
money for.
Defund means you abolish it.
No,
Would
those
you
are two different
Brianna,
words.
Let me try
It's
one
very
more
interesting,
time.
Piers, that you
Let me
use
try,
two different words there.
Let me try one more time. Let me try one more time, given you don't know what defund actually means.
Oh, I know what defund
because
means a lot better than you do, Piers, as evidenced by the fact that you chose to pivot to abolish, because you can discern a distinct difference between those two terms. Defunding, just like when Republicans say they want to defund the Department of Education, they want to defund things day and night. The whole point of DOGE was to defund the national government. And again, I don't see all the hand-wringing about that. The Pentagon, no one here can answer the direct question of whether or not they believe the Pentagon, which has an unprecedentedly large budget that cannot pass an audit for 8-9 years in a row, should get increased funding.
Let me try.
Do you think that's the case, Joe?
Okay,
Do you think
Brianna.
that's the case, Piers?
Here's the one part of this entire exchange that's actually true, and it deserves to be said plainly. The Pentagon has failed its financial audit 8 years in a row, the only major federal agency that has never once passed, while its budget just crossed $1 trillion for this year alone. That's a real, legitimate, bipartisan concern. Plenty of Republicans have said the exact same thing about Pentagon waste. But watch what Gray does with a true fact. She uses it as a smokescreen to avoid the actual question on the table, whether she personally wants these institutions abolished. A real accountability problem at the Pentagon has nothing to do with whether Gray believes in abolishing the police or the prison system, and she knows that, which is exactly why she keeps steering there every time Morgan tries to pin her down. So Morgan tries again, and this time he brings the actual dictionary into it.
Brianna, once again, it's my show, so I do the questions, and then you answer them, or you choose not to. I'm just going to repeat again, whatever your interpretation of defund is, and you clearly have a different one to mine and Joe's, okay.
Mine is the
let's
English
park that
dictionary.
debate for one moment. Well, it actually means to stop providing money, or it can mean to reduce the amount of money. So it depends what interpretation.
Absolutely, it can. I'm glad you've acknowledged that now, Piers.
But as you know, in the general debate about this, it's been accepted that when people have said defund, they mean abolish. So let me just clarify with you what you personally believe, would you, in your utopia world, would you abolish the Pentagon, abolish the police, and abolish prisons? Yes or no?
Piers, it's wild that you talk about the general debate about this when you're the one hosting the debate and
Answer
creating
the
the ambiguity by
questions.
posing questions
Answer
exactly
the
like
questions.
that. Defund means
Brianna,
decrease
would
funding
you
for.
abolish those institutions?
Means get rid of entirely. That is a clear answer to
Yes.
your question. Defund means decrease funding for.
Would you?
Abolish means abolish entirely.
Notice the sleight of hand here. Gray finally admits defund can mean reduce funding, which is a real concession, and then immediately acts like she's won the exchange by drawing a technical line between defund and abolish. But that's exactly the distinction Morgan asked her to clarify from the very first clip, and it took her 3 full minutes of arguing about dictionaries to get there. That's not a gotcha from Morgan. That's just how long it took Gray to say something straightforward instead of stalling. And once the word games run out, watch her try one more escape route entirely.
Period.
I'm asking you if you would abolish them. Would you
Why
abolish
do you
them?
care what I personally, Brianna Joy Gray, I know why you care.
Because you're a guest on my show.
No, because you want to make this a conversation about whatever. I am to the left, way to
I
the left.
just want to know what you think. Why is this so difficult? This is
This is not a
excruciating.
referendum on me. This is a referendum on the actual DSA and the candidates that you are
Brianna,
frustrated are winning races because they're overwhelmingly popular. I'm not running for office.
Brianna, you were invited as a guest onto a panel to debate the future of the Democratic Party in light of the rise of the Democratic Socialist.
So let's debate that.
So
and not
I am
my
asking you.
beliefs.
Wait a
We
minute,
want to talk
Brianna.
about the Democratic Party
So
and
I'm
the
asking
DSA
you.
and the candidates that are running under those
Given
banners.
that the Democratic, given that I'm going to keep talking over you if you keep talking.
This is the moment the entire interview actually reveals itself. Gray was invited specifically to debate the rise of the Democratic Socialists on behalf of that movement, and the second she's asked to state her own actual position, she claims her personal beliefs are somehow irrelevant to the conversation she was booked to have. You don't get to represent a political movement's ideas in a debate and then declare your own beliefs off limits the moment they get specific. Morgan's response, that she was invited exactly to answer this, is the simplest, most obvious point in the entire segment, and it's the one Gray has no real answer for. So Morgan asks one more time, and this time she finally can't run from it.
Given that the Democratic Socialist candidates
right back
espouse a philosophy where they want to abolish all these institutions, I'm just asking you, Brianna, whether you personally would like to abolish the Pentagon, the police, and prisons. Yes or no?
Brianna, think it's Brianna with a ah sound. Think it's absolutely unconscionable that you can say a kind of mealy mouth, I think it was really bad that ICE murdered American citizens in the street, but want to make this a referendum of whether one socialist, happens to believe in abolishing those programs. To me, the answer is yes. The absolute long-term goal. I just answered the question.
Yes or no?
1 second. The long-term,
yes
to me,
or no?
the answer is affirmatively yes.
Yes or no, Brianna?
Personally, absolutely, me, Brianna Joy Gray, since the world is clamoring for my one woman's opinion, absolutely do believe in abolish the police, abolish the Senate, abolish the Pentagon. I do not think the American war machine, which has caused unfathomable horrors across the globe for the entirety of all of our living memory, should persist.
Got it. We've got that.
Absolutely, the Pentagon
is a force for evil in the world. Pierce.
I think the police.
We got it. We got it. We got you on the record.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
We got it. We got it.
There it is. After 6 minutes of dictionary arguments, deflections, and accusing Morgan of making this personal, Gray says it herself, on the record, unprompted by any trick question: abolish the police, abolish the Senate, abolish the Pentagon. Not defund, not reform, not restructure, abolish. That single word ends the entire earlier argument about definitions retroactively, because she just used abolish herself to describe her own actual position. Every minute before this was spent trying to avoid saying exactly this sentence, and it still came out anyway. And it gets one more layer worse because she didn't stop there either.
Stop talking. You would abolish the Pentagon and the police. You said, what about prisons? Would you abolish prisons?
Oh, they're first on the list. Just like the DSA, Megan Romer said.
Great, okay.
The long-term
let me go to Oliver. Great, no, it's all right. We're done.
Let me be clear.
We're done. We're done.
This is the detail that connects everything. Gray directly name drops Megan Romer, the DSA's own national co-chair, the same person who went on Fox News and confirmed, true or false, that the DSA wants to abolish the Senate, abolish the presidency, abolish ICE, and phase out prisons entirely. So this isn't Gray freelancing an extreme personal opinion in the heat of an argument. This is her confirming that her position is the actual organizational position of the Democratic Socialists of America, sourced directly from their own leadership. Two separate interviews, two separate networks, the same platform, confirmed by two different people connected to the same movement. That's not a gotcha clip anymore. That's a documented pattern.